Muito bem. Aqui Andres Muschietti e também a Bárbara Muschietti, a produtora e o diretor do It Capítulo 2, Chapter 2.
Chapter 2, Capítulo 2, Chapitre 2, supongo.
The first time we talked was on the release of Mama. I got to interview you both.
Oh my God!
In the States, I think.
That was so long
and
ago.
it was a long time ago. And I think that since then, you guys are working exclusively on it. Is that it?
Yeah. Well, after Mama was released, we've been involved in different movie projects, development and stuff that didn't take off. And then along came It, and so we jumped in it, and we've been in it for 5 years now.
I think that the industry perceives you guys as specialists in horror movies. You started doing this, right? With Mama, you wrote together the short film first.
Yeah.
And do you see yourselves like specialists in this kind of genre?
Well, horror is a very big passion for me and for Barbara. I was imprinted by horror in those formative years. When I was a teenager, so I was a big horror fan. Then you learn the art of filmmaking during the years, and you get in contact with other kind of films and go to film school, blah blah. But horror is always
Film school, blah blah.
yeah. But horror is always a passion.
And what for you?
Just as much. We were exposed to horror movies when we were very young, and we loved them, and never left. And we make movies that we'd love to see, that we'd love to watch. So I don't know if we are experts in horror or not, but we are making the movies that we love and that we want to see, and they happen to have a strong element of horror.
I was checking your pages on IMDb, and you guys worked as producer in Evita in Argentina when you were shooting there?
I was a producer's assistant, and Andy was PA in the AD department. We were very young. I was 22 and he was 20. I had just finished school. He was still in school, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, she got me a job there. A little nepotism. Sorry.
You know, in Evita we brought like 100 and I think 120 people from the US and the UK to work in Argentina, and they were all at the top of their game. So it was a huge learning experience for us. It was wonderful to see them work.
And now after all this time, you're doing your third feature, and you do this movie that's like a massive horror movie. The scale of it and the special effects and all that, I think that was Bill Hader that compared this to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And it's how's that endeavor? Because it's not just a small horror movie.
Well, for me, I just see it as telling the second part of the story.
Okay.
The adults, it has more scope. It has a different scale. It's more exciting visually. But that's because we had a bigger budget, and that's my belly.
Empanada.
That's my belly trying to get out. That's the result. Basically, the size that you mentioned is the result of Chapter 1 having been a successful movie that a lot of people loved. Now I was given the resources to make a little more justice to the scale and scope of the story that I always had in mind. Now you see the two movies and they don't feel like uneven at all. It feels like Chapter 1 is a little more intimate. It's a little more told from the perspective of a bunch of kids, and even though there's visual elements that are like really sophisticated and everything, you can tell that on the second one. We're like everything is more unleashed visually.
I wanted to know what's the kind of inputs that Stephen King, like the advices that he gave you guys, because he's on screen.
I wanted to keep Stephen King closer this time to production, and I really wanted to know what his ideas were about our script. Unlike the first one, he was like a little more like removed or detached from it.
By choice. It
By
was
choice,
his
yeah,
choice.
yeah.
You know.
He had read an early draft and he thought it was good. But on the second one, I wanted to give him more aware of what we were doing. He didn't want to interfere a lot because he's of all the writers that are adapted to film, he's probably the one that understands better what an adaptation is.
Mm.
It's a different piece, it's a different kind of medium, and he embraces like the creation of another piece based on. He's not like jealous about the work anymore. He did a little list of things that he would like to see on the movie,
Okay.
and they were like most of them were already in. Well, of course, you make a bigger movie and then you want more, but you unfortunately, even though it's a bigger budget, you have to juggle with the elements that you have and basically balance things out. If you have a big or a huge scene like the destruction of Derry, that will suck off the every like visual effects budget, and then you're bad.
No more spoilers.
No more spoilers. Yeah.
It seems a movie that's so much more playful. You're making jokes with Stephen King. Is that intentional to do this more like, it's scary, it's really scary actually, but you're doing like in a playful kind of thing? Is that intentional?
Yeah, but humor is a very important part of the whole fresco. In this, for me, like humor is it's a way to connect faster with characters because you empathize faster than a movie that is just serious. I mean, it depends, of course, but for me, it's important. I grew up in the '80s watching movies that were like very influential to me, like Evil Dead, American Werewolf in London, Fright Night. Those are the best horror experiences, and they all almost like they're a comedy horror. So I think it's great, and people like really enjoy those moments.
Since the 80s, for like 40 years, movies are telling Stephen King stories. It's kind of trending right now. What is it about Stephen King that is so timeless?
He's a great observer of human behavior. Apart from the horror writer, he's an incredible voyeur of people's psyches and reactions and interrelation between people. Now, he knows drama. He knows how to build a drama, but he has a special love for characters.
And also he's ridiculously prolific, so he writes more books than anybody else, so you just have a lot more great material to adapt. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Actually, you can make like 4 movies out of it, because it's massive.
We thought initially that we needed 3 movies because it's over 1,200 pages and it was a lot of story to tell. After a couple conversations with the studio, we had to limit ourselves to 2, and here we are.
And also his imagination. Sorry, I come back to like what makes him so successful. I think like he has an incredible imagination. He's constantly creating stories that are original, one after the other, and he doesn't stop like spewing like really good material with new ideas.
And now you guys are lining these big projects coming after this.
Yeah.
And one of these projects is Attack on Titan. How do you guys plan to do that, to make this for a worldwide audience?
It's always about emotions, and it's always about like being very true to the spirit of the core and the heart of the story, of characters, and then make it spectacular too. I can see it. It's a movie that I want to see. That's why I'm so excited to make it.
And also you guys are preparing to eventually do The Flash, and which I think would work wonderfully on screen. Mm-hmm. What are you guys planning to do with that?
The thing that really I found very compelling is that it's an intimate, emotional story.
In a spectacular world, but
yeah, of course, it's in the frame of a superhero movie, so you won't like fans of action will not be disappointed. But it's a story with a heart, and it's not only about saving the world from like alien forces. It's about something a little more personal and more intimate, but definitely more emotional than the average superhero movie. That's what brought me closer to this project, and I think it's a story that can really touch a lot of people's hearts. Apart from being a very exciting action vessel, I wish I could talk more about it, but for now,
Yeah, it looks promising.
Thank you.
I don't know about the folk culture in Argentina, the child's tales. But we have in Brazil like some monsters from the country, and I just wanted to show you. There's one that is called Cuca.
Cuca.
Cuca is like the boogeyman,
Yes.
and she eats kids,
Oh.
and I'll just show you, and you guys, you can tell me if you can make a movie out of it. So
Yeah,
that's
the
it.
budget.
We're pitching the Kuka movie.
Yes.
I'm already thinking of Kuka 2. Kuka in the city. Kuka in
Kuka in space.
In New York. Yeah, in space. That's amazing. But it's like it's funny also, right? It's like a bit of a comedic, or no? It's just for children.
Yeah, it's more like a comedy kind of
Yeah.
story. Yeah,
That's amazing. Kuka.
yeah,
No, we
that's
don't
Kuka.
have Kuka. Wow.
Yeah, but she's so beautiful. Look at that.
Eu sou sua Cuca, a mais terrível das criaturas.
I'm glad that you're taking like a very like folkloric figure and making it into a show, because we have so much of those in Argentina, and like sadly there's not enough translations of it into the screen.
Okay, so this is it. We're pitching the Kuka movie with the directors of it. So
It has potential.
yeah, got potential, right?
Yes.
Gracias, muchas gracias, Andrés.
Gracias a ti,
Gracias,
Marcelo. Muchas gracias
Marcelo.
por tenernos aquí.